Hello there. I know, I'm shocked too. As you can guess, this is not a bookshelf tour. And yeah, I wasn't expecting to put a third video up today either. But yeah, this was too good to pass up as a topic of conversation. A little bit of me is finding this fucking hilarious. Because it's fucking hilarious. A much larger part of me deep down inside, after the bit that's giggling shut up, will be very, very angry for a long time about this, because it's yet another example of exactly what I hate. Lindsay Ellis, the victim of Bob Chipman's obsession, and the nostalgia chick of years past, has apparently been the next victim of cancel culture. I don't know how this has happened. Apparently they just, I don't know, they throw a dart at a dartboard and whoever it lands on gets cancelled next. I mean, you can't cancel people. They're not TV shows. They don't stop existing just because you say, yeah, cancelled. It's kind of pathetic. But yeah, Lindsay Ellis has deleted her Twitter account. She is completely offline at this point. I don't know what else is going to happen. I haven't looked into this in any detail. Frankly, I'm throwing a video out there because I'm just throwing up my initial reaction, because I don't need to know the details. Right? There's videos upon videos that'll explain the details. I don't need to know the details, because I know enough already to be able to make the point I want to make. And that is that I don't care. I don't care what Lindsay Ellis said. She says something offensive and fucking stupid most days, because she's a raging SJW who believes in identity politics and censorship. So she actively offends me on a daily fucking basis. She watched Pixar's Soul, and apparently, I've not seen the film, but apparently the film has unborn babies have souls in this film. And she had the gall to call that pro-life propaganda and make jokes about miscarriage. I think that's extremely uncouth. Especially given this is a woman who proudly made a documentary about how she got an abortion and played it off as if she was somehow being brave and not killing a baby. Now, whether or not you're pro-life or not, you've got to admit that an abortion is not something you should be celebrating. If you believe that she didn't kill a baby and that she just got an abortion, then at the very least, you have to accept that that's a somber thing to do. That it's something you don't want to have to do. It's not something that you go and celebrate, make a big documentary about, and champion it as the thing that you should be known for. Like, seriously, just learn how to use a fucking condom. But that aside, given that this woman is well known for being the I'm happy I got an abortion and rubbing it in everyone's faces girl, making jokes about miscarriage and calling a film that apparently, I mean it's a Pixar film, apparently wanted to portray unborn babies as having souls as some kind of propaganda piece, is such an incredibly stupid thing to do. That's not why she was cancelled. That would make sense as a reason why she was cancelled. It's an extremely uncouth and stupid thing to say. It would also make perfect sense if it was possible to cancel me for being annoyed and calling an abortion killing babies. because there are plenty of pro-choice people out there who are going to take offence at that statement. I can't be cancelled. I don't give a shit what these people say. I don't actually have a Twitter, and I genuinely don't give a fuck what the American reactionary stupid left think. So they can press cancel as much as they like. I'm not on your fucking system. So yeah. They can't do anything to me. I don't give a fuck. This is not giving a fuck. But they can to Lindsay Ellis, because she's very much part of that situation. She's very much a part of that. Bob Chipman must be fucking swivelling. He must have no idea what to make of this. But yeah, so what did she get cancelled for? What did everyone shit the bed over? Well, apparently she compared Raya and the Last Dragon to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and by all accounts, that's a pretty apt, pretty apt and accurate comparison. She claims that there is a current glut of YA fantasy that is basically low rent rip-offs of Avatar: The Last Airbender. That sounds accurate. A lot of people who have only a vague idea of like Eastern aesthetics, and they can just throw it in with a vague like element thing that always represents fire and water and earth and air, because those are elements, even though elements are not those. Elements are things on the periodic table, but those are the classical elements. So they all, the power's always divided into those four. Potentially there'll be a fifth one that will represent chi or life force or void or something like that, but there's usually a fifth that's like a hidden element or like the perfect mixture of all four or something. You know exactly what we're talking about when we say the elements. I mean, it was literally the fucking plot of the first Final Fantasy game as well. Gather stones of all the elements. So this is not new. I believe actually in old Chinese folklore and that, one of the elements was wood, which is a bit weird. It was, I think there were 5 elements and one of them was wood and one of them was soot or something like that. I don't know, I'd have to look them up. But yeah, the classical 4 element thing. And yeah, there's plenty. I've not seen Raya and the Last Dragon either. I have no idea if it rips off the Last Airbender. It probably does. And yeah, that's all she said. Apparently that makes her a racist. She now hates Asian people, according to Twitter and the left. This was bad enough that she is now off Twitter. She's deleted her Twitter because remember that Lindsay Ellis is part of this identity politics nonsense, and as a white woman, she's not allowed to defend herself. She has to accept, because it's part of her political narrative, that institutional racism exists, that white privilege is a fact, and that everyone is unconsciously racist. So her response to being told that it was racist to compare something that is ripping off another property to the property it's ripping off because it has a vague Asian theme is to admit openly that she has racist biases and apologise profusely, then delete her Twitter. The woman is a fucking idiot. Honestly, Bob Chipman, MovieBob, I know that, you've got a major stiffy for this woman. It's something you can't help. You're a feckless geek who can't handle the fact that a real woman who doesn't have staples to her tits or pixels on her face was standing close to you one day and you took a photo. And you remember it fondly. But honestly, she apparently has the brain power of a bag of hammers. You probably had a narrow escape there. That said, you also have the brain power of a bag of hammers. You'd probably be a good match. It might be a good idea. Actually, no, don't match these two up. God forbid if they ever breed. Oh, could you imagine the idiot they would have as a baby? But this has actually timed it perfectly for my YouTube channel, because this means that I can take everything that is a big thing on my channel and merge it into one nice little bow. Because I can take MovieBob, who has somehow managed to attract hundreds of people because apparently ripping on him is funny. It is funny. I'll admit it's funny. We can take cancel culture, because Lindsay Ellis is cancelled, and we can take Booktube, and we can smash them all together. Because what this has done, the reason I'm making a video, is I've decided that I am going to ride the fucking coattails of this right now. I have picked my next read. I've put... This made me put Warbreaker down. This made me put Warbreaker down, and trust me when I say, I was thoroughly enjoying Warbreaker. Like, Warbreaker is a damn good book, and I'm going back to it. But I have put it down because I am going to do a couple of big reading sprints at the moment. There's one that I'm going to be following that's happening tonight that is 2 hours long, so I'm going to get a good hour and a half reading. I'm going to do a bit of reading before that. Then I'm going to probably... I'm busy tomorrow. I've got my mum coming round. I've got a game session I'm running in the morning, so Wednesdays are no go for me. But Thursday, I will probably run my own stream, simply because I've got a free day on Thursday. I've got nothing on, so I'm going to run my own stream, and I will read it on stream, and I'll discuss it there, and I'll also follow up on any information I get on the whole cancel culture nonsense for Lindsay Ellis and see if there's been any comments. I hope Bob Chipman makes a comment. I hope MovieBob actually makes a comment. It would be so funny if he does. Twitter would explode. I'm going to be reading this. This is Lindsay Ellis's book, Axiom's End. It is a first contact. Sci-fi, an extraordinary debut from Hugo Award finalist and video essayist Lindsay Ellis. John Scalzi has a quote: "Close Encounters have a whole new look," with the phrase "truth is a human right." Oh, wow, okay. Given this is by Lindsay Ellis, if this has like anti-censorship ideals or like journalistic integrity ideals baked into the storyline, this would be such a deliciously ironic read. I am so looking forward to reading this on stream now. I'm going to read I'm going to read a chapter or so now. I'm going to read some more during the reading sprint, and then I'm going to do the stream on Thursday, and I am really looking forward to this. It is just shy of 500 pages. If I'm reading this with as much gusto as I expect, I will not be surprised if I finish this by Friday, because I am so excited to get into this now. This is, I mean, look at the grin on my face. I'm finding this all hilarious. In reality, it's not funny. Yeah, now, I'm going to bring it down for a minute. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to... Stop enjoying the schadenfreude. Let's be honest. What this is fucking ridiculous. And Lindsay Ellis, whilst she is someone I find annoying and offensive on a regular basis, I bought her book. And I didn't buy it to mock it. I bought it because I thought it might be interesting. Because Lindsay Ellis is actually a pretty good video essayist when she's not preaching her bullshit feminist nonsense. She actually has a fair few decent things to say about media. She's fairly good at analysis, she's made some good stuff, and even though she often disassociates herself from her past work, especially the nostalgia critic stuff, because apparently he got cancelled a while ago, so she can't have anything to do with him. So all the nostalgia chick videos she does not acknowledge. They were a lot of fun. I enjoyed them. I found them funny. I found them interesting. They were, popcorn entertainment as far as I was concerned. And sometimes she said some good stuff. the problem is everyone now disassociates from everything they did like 2 years ago, because it's probably involving someone who's been cancelled, in the very, very hope that you're not the next person to be cancelled. And now it's bitten Lindsay in the arse. And I can't say I'm surprised, because she's done some really stupid things in the past, and she's made some really, really daft statements in the past. And eventually one of them was going to bite her in the arse. I'm not surprised that she got cancelled. What I am surprised at is that she got cancelled for such an innocuous comment as claiming that something that is apparently a rip-off of Avatar The Last Airbender ripped off Avatar The Last Airbender, because loads of things do that. Pretty much every Asian-inspired fantasy at the moment is ripping off Avatar The Last Airbender, because Avatar The Last Airbender's really good. So obviously they rip it off. It's a really easy thing to rip off. Right. It's got a very simple plot because it's written for children. It's got a really, really good build-up to it. It's so easy to rip this thing off. Of course, people rip it off. So yeah, she's quite right. She got cancelled for that, and not for making the really offensive and really short-sighted comment about miscarriage. How did that not get her cancelled? So yeah, I'm not surprised, but I'm annoyed at it because it's yet another bloody excuse. The left just keeps eating itself, but I'm actually kind of hopeful, because eventually it's just going to continue and continue and continue until they've cancelled pretty much everyone. Like, there was a comment saying, like, who's going to be next? Is it going to be Jenny Nicholson next? I'm like, yeah. She said stupid stuff as a joke that could easily be misconstrued and cancelled. I watch her channel. She's funny. She's got a dry sense of humour. I'm sure they could find an excuse to cancel her next. Like, what was it? That Sea Bomber guy channel that's very, very openly left-wing. Yeah, they could easily cancel him next. Like, his idea of a charity drive was to do a charity drive for a supposed charity for trans kids. Now, I will say that this will be a controversial take, by the way. If you're on his side of the political spectrum, you will not like what I've got to say now. His motivation was very good. He thought he was doing a good job, and he raised a lot of money for a child abuse organisation. Because there's no such thing as trans children. Children do not have a concept of their identity. What they have is brainwashing. What they have is a political group that are telling them they're trans, and a media giants, like a media organisation and loads of media giants pushing this trans movement, because it's one big political hot button at the moment, that makes them think that they must be trans because they don't fit in. Newsflash, you're 13. No one fits in when they're 13. Everyone feels like a fish out of water at 13. Every single fucking person who has ever been 13, which is every person over 13, felt like they didn't belong, didn't fit in, and that people didn't understand them. It is a universal fact of being 13. That doesn't make you trans. It makes you a human being. And when you've got an organisation that then takes these confused, hormonal, and attention-seeking kids, and of course they are, because all kids are attention-seeking, and pushes this trans identity onto them, you end up with situations where they are forced into hormone therapy, they are pressured into surgery in their late teens, and then by their mid-20s, they're going, holy shit, I let doctors mutilate me whilst I was brainwashed in my early 20s, or even late teens, and now I either can't have kids, or have basically mutilated genitals. My body has been irrevocably harmed by hormone treatments that I didn't need, or because I was a delusional 13-year-old who thought I was different from all the other girls, or different from all the other boys. Yeah, you and every other teenager on the face of the fucking planet, Dimrod. So yeah, I don't like that charity. I don't consider it a charity. I consider it to be an abuse organisation that is pushing its politics on kids. Unfortunately, it's H something bomber guy. It doesn't matter. It's something bomber guy. H3 bomber guy, I think it is. Yeah, that sounds right. H3 bomber guy. Right. It's a username. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I would be surprised if he hasn't said something that would get him cancelled. But yeah, cancel culture is going ridiculous now. And yeah, I'm going to read this now. I wonder if I'll enjoy it. I'm hoping I will, actually. I'm really hoping that it's actually like a shocker favourite, because that would be so deliciously weird if it turns out that Lindsay Ellis, a woman I genuinely can't stand, who pisses me off and offends me on a regular, wrote a book I fucking love. That would be fantastic. That would make for such an interesting discussion and such an interesting deep dive into a book. So I hope that it's actually interesting and enjoyable, because if it's just a load of pretentious bullshit and her politics on the page, and all I find is that it's annoying and offensive, that's going to be so boring and trite, it's going to be so obvious. I hope it's not. I hope it's well written. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put this up and watch as everyone explodes, wondering what the hell is going on and why there's a third book up. Why there's a third video up. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and extra video for you. Bye.